We are the Bookish Bishes.
We read books.
And we have bishes.
And it has been many months since we have seen you, spoke to you, done anything with the camera at all. It's been a weird couple months. Mary almost made us homeless, and we lived in a long-term Airbnb.
For 3 months.
For 3 months. It was a weird time.
Hence our 3-month hiatus.
During those 3 months that we were in a long-term Airbnb, we weren't supposed to collect any more books, and we failed miserably. And so here's all those books that we bought.
Yeah.
We have a few categories: books that we bought, books that came in subscription boxes, and books that we managed to get for free, which is always the most exciting.
From a little free library.
And a gift. Okay, I failed the most and have the most, so I'm going to start. And the first couple books are books that I read from the library and then bought because I wanted them. So, since we have a lot of books, I'm going to do this kind of rapid fire. Not going to talk about them too much. But the first one I have is Abby Jimenez, Just for This Summer. I already read this from the library. I gave it 5 stars. Abby Jimenez is very hit or miss for me. I loved Part of Your World, hated Yours Truly, and this one I really loved. So she's been redeemed in my eyes. But it is a very cute summer romance. I loved it. Next one that I've already read is Feybound. I also read this from the library and I really liked it. And then I hopped on Pango and got the Fairy Loot edition. So that was really cool. It's so
Very
beautiful.
pretty.
Absolutely stunning. And it wasn't even that expensive. It was only like $30, which is probably as much as I would pay for the regular hardback.
And we had Pango Bucks.
And I had Pango Bucks to use, so it was free.
Focus.
And then the last one I have on top of them is Spy Family Volume 1, because I read it from the library and then turned it back, and then you wanted to read it, and it like wasn't coming in, so we just bought it. So that's my first few. Mary, pick up a book.
Okay, so while we were at our Airbnb, there were a few little free libraries around in the area. So when I'm taking the dogs out, going for our hot girl walks, I picked up 2. Just 2. Very reasonable number. So one is The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I recently just read the one with the moon.
The one with the moon. Sea of Tranquility.
Sea of Tranquility, and I really enjoyed that. We also have Station 11, so figured I'd pick this one up. The other one we both have already read. It is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I actually found this one on the way to the library.
2 for 1. The next 2 books I bought at a local indie bookstore in DC, a Loyalty bookstore in the Petworth location, and I bought these on Indie Bookstore Day. So it was like, you can't not buy something. Yeah. So I got Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. I read Kindred this year and absolutely loved it, and I want to get more into her works, so I figured I'd pick that up. And then a book that I read from the library again and decided to pick up my own copy is The Emperor and the Endless Palace, and it was a good thing I did because she read it right after me.
I read it right afterwards. Had a great time.
I think we
5
both
stars.
really liked this. Very fun book, plays with time and relationships and soulmates, maybe, perhaps. Really good.
I was going a little bit stir crazy in the Airbnb. It was working from home a lot, and I just needed to go on a little adventure. So I picked up Blood on the Tracks, Volume 4, because I have read most of them from the library, but Volume 4 was just like on hold forever and ever, and so I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just buy it. I also bought Lonely Castle in the Mirror, which I've heard about. It's been on my TBR for a while. I've heard it's got kind of Ghibli vibes, so I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I had never heard of that book. In fact, when I saw it the other day, I was like, where did this come from? I did not know it was there. So these next 2 I'm not counting as us buying during our hiatus of purchasing books because they were pre-orders that just happened to come in during that time. So the first one was Leigh Bardugo, The Familiar, with the sprayed black edges from the first print. I have read this. It was okay. It took me a long time to read. I felt like it moved very slowly, but I did really enjoy the story. It just, I don't know, when I would put it down and I wouldn't have the desire to pick it up. but it's about a girl who lives in Spain during like the Inquisition times, and there's magic, and it plays a lot with religion, and like your identity and all things like that. The other book that I pre-ordered that I have not read yet is Emily Henry's Funny Story. I pick up Emily Henry's new release every single year and always love them. I think Emily Henry is so fun to read, and I somehow get Mary to read them with me too, and she hates romance. So we're gonna do a buddy read of this soon.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
My next books are ones that I pre-ordered from Waterstones because quite often we like the UK covers better. First one is Legends and Lattes. We both already read this from the library. We have the US cover
That I hate. I
I don't like it. And so we bought both of them on Waterstones. Bookshops and Bone Dust is waiting to be published in paperback, I think. So that one will be coming. The next one is A Curse for True Love, which is a series Katie and I also have both read. US covers, not it.
I think they're
Not
ugly.
it.
I think they're so ugly.
The UK covers, beautiful, beautiful. Anyways, and then the last one is Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner. The first one, God Killer, was an Illumicrate book from last year. I really enjoyed it, and then I listened to Sunbringer this year, but in the US it's only in paperback, and I wanted it hardback so it would match the other one, hence Waterstones.
Hence Waterstones. These next two are also library books that I then bought. Well, kind of. So this is Spy Family Volume 10. So we have 1 and 10 now. And the reason I bought 10 is because I had it on hold at the library for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it said it was in transit for weeks. So not even just like on hold. It was like specifically in transit. And after like 3 weeks of it being in transit, I was like, this is never going to get to me. So I was in Barnes & Noble and they had Volume 10, which Barnes & Noble's around here, sometimes they don't have all the volumes, so it's kind of hit or miss which ones you can get at the time. So when they had 10, I picked it up. Then another book I read from the library and loved it, so I picked it up, is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. I really liked 7 Days in June, but I think I like this one even better, mostly because 7 Days in June is a second chance romance, and I don't usually like second chance romances, but this one had such lovely musical vibes, artsy vibes. The main character runs a floral shop, which was really cool. Lots of fun history. The history felt really alive in here, and I really enjoyed it, and I want Mary to read it too. I think she'll really like it. I think it's a romance she'll like, which
Eventually.
It's good. The
I'll
audiobook
get
is
to
really
it.
good. They have like a male narrator and a female narrator, which I don't always love in romance books, because there's something about like a male narrator in a romance book that can be like so cringy, but this one was really good.
Okay, the last one for me before I move on to my subscription box books. This was totally Chaos by The Tainted Cup. I just really liked the cover, heard that it was kind of Sherlock Holmesy, and I was very much a Sherlock girly. I don't really know much about it. I've heard a couple good things.
Great. The next two. So This American Wife, or This American Ex-Wife, is a nonfiction book that I also picked up at Loyalty Bookstore on Independent Bookshop Day, and it's a nonfiction talking about the state of marriages in America and how women tend to be happier after they get divorced. And I work in family law. I just thought that would be like a really interesting read to see if it kind of matches up with my experiences at work. And also, yeah, I've seen a lot of women be happier after they get divorced. So we'll see what that's about. The next, I'm just gonna kind of rapid fire through the rest of the books that I bought. So I bought Tender Hearts of Flesh when we were in Barnes & Noble one day, and I love me a good kind of slow, weird horror book, which I think this is exactly what that is. I don't know much about it except for cannibalism, I'm pretty sure, but it's like sad girl lit fic horror, which is right up my vibes, and I love that. Turning completely away from that, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Listen, if Ali writes it, I'm gonna read it. I think that every book she puts out is better than the last. Well, except for Bride. I liked Bride, but I did not think it was like better than her previous works, whereas I think that every book previously had gotten better. So this one, I know it has something to do with like corporate mergers and, you know, who knows what that's about. So I don't think it's necessarily like in her like feminist romance novels, because I don't think maybe it is though. I don't know.
Well, I think one of them is in STEM and one of them isn't. I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's
that
more
is-
the business side of science.
That is correct. One works in a lab and
Yeah.
the other works in like corporate world. And also you can see I bought it at Target. So and then these last 3 I bought the other day because it was my birthday and so I needed to treat myself. And also we had moved into the new house, so it doesn't technically count as my hiatus. So I got Can't Spill Treason Without Tea. I've heard good things about this. It's kind of Legends and Latte-esque, cozy fantasy. I think this one has a little bit of a mystery in it, and also it's gay. Can't get better than that. We also have How to Become the Dark Lord. I think this is gonna give me what Assistant to the Villain promised it was. I think it's gonna be like, it's about this woman who is like trying to fight the Dark Lord, and then she realizes that actually her life could be so much better if she just like becomes the Dark Lord. And I think that's a silly, goofy, good time. And I do love books that kind of are parodies, comedy versions of classic fantasy tropes. I think those are really fun. Lastly, I got Bless Your Heart, which again, I love comedy horror, like very Rachel Harrison type books, and I think that's exactly what this is. And I know it's about a woman in Texas who I think runs a funeral home and is also a vampire. And that sounds really fun. And also Bless Your Heart, which my grandma used to say.
Bless your heart.
And yeah, you know, it just reminds me of home.
The comforts or discomforts of home.
Yes, exactly.
So my next 2 are from a subscription box.
I think the rest of them are pretty much.
Well, yeah, the rest. But this one is from Book of the Month. I recently joined Book of the Month. Katie's been a member for a while. Yeah. But, you know, if you use a friend's code, you can get your first book for $5. So my first ever Book of the Month was The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali. She has also written The Stationery Shop, which has been on my TBR cart for a while. Haven't read it yet, but I'm sure I'll love it. So I was really excited to pick this one up. And my most recent Book of the Month book was The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. I believe she wrote the Wishing Game. That was really popular last year. And the blurb sounded really good to me. So I picked that one up for this month's Book of the Month.
I guess I'll also go through my July Book of the Month. So I picked up House of Glass. I don't really know much about this. I think it's a thriller, mystery, and you know, I find myself picking up a lot of like mystery thrillers from Book of the Month, specifically thrillers, I would say more than mysteries. And they're usually like relatively good. You know what I mean? Like they're not usually my 5-star thrillers, but they're like solid and you know, very fast paced. I think there's something about like this is kind of family drama, nanny wife things. So we'll see about that. And then I also picked up Riley Sager's release Middle of the Night for this month because it was my birthday month, so I got it for free as an add-on. And I've heard kind of mixed things about that, which I always hear mixed things about Riley Sager's books. I'm a little excited because this is his first book with a male main character instead of a woman who is unreliable because she's crazy and or drinks. So it's fun to see him take on a man this time. I think there was like a murder when the guy was a kid, and then, or a kidnapping or something, and then he's like back home when he's in his 30s and trying to like solve the mystery. So there's probably dual timelines, which isn't my favorite, but like we'll see how it goes.
I think this is going to be my last round, and then Katie's has many more. These next 4 are going to be from Illumicrate. The most recent one we got is of Jade and Dragons. Really pretty cover. Really like the sprayed edge. Also, I'm really here for the naked hardback on this one.
Exceptional.
It's beautiful. My next one was To Cage a God. Also, really like the sprayed edge. Really like the end papers too on this one.
Better than just the character art.
Yeah. And then
which I'm coming around on.
We just got Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. We have Kaikeyi, have not read it yet, but I'm really excited for this one. This one also has the, you know, really pretty sprayed edge, really nice character art.
Yeah.
And also very pretty naked.
And I think she writes Southeast Asian
South
mythology.
Asian.
South Asian? Oh yeah, she's Indian,
South
isn't she?
Asian.
She's from India or Sri Lanka?
I think Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Which I just read a
South
book
Asian.
that took place in Sri Lanka, and it was very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But I love to see, I'm very over Greek mythology, and I'm loving to see mythology retellings from like other cultures. I think it's like really refreshing.
The last one from Illumicrate that we got in this interim between houses is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. I really like the sprayed edges again, and character art is nice. Also, really nice naked hardback. So, yeah, that is it for my haul.
Woo!
Now,
Okay.
Katie,
Okay, I guess we'll just
can we
keep
really
going.
do rapid fire?
We can be rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
So, these were all from subscription
Subscription
boxes,
box.
kind of. One of them was an Afterlight that I had like pre-ordered. Okay, so next we got Annie Bot from Book of the Month. I don't really know what this is about, except I think it's a man falling in love with like an AI named Annie Bot, and I love a weird little sci-fi. It's pretty short, so I think that will be good. This is from March. Next to my Aardvark book from June. The Eyes Are the Best Part. I know that this is kind of, it's like part coming of age, part horror. Body horror. Yeah, I mean, the cover reminded me a lot of Mayfly, and I really like Mayfly.
I think it's also been compared to Chlorine, which I read a few months ago and really enjoyed. So
Yeah, again, one of those like sad girl horror lit fics. Excited about it. These are all of the Afterlight books that I've gotten in the last few months. So we have One Last Shot, which I think is about a photographer in Italy. And I think that this is like one of the most exceptionally pretty Afterlight books for a while, especially the sprayed edges. But yeah, I think it's kind of like a summary romance. Is that focusing?
Yeah, it's
okay.
focused.
A summary romance that takes place in Italy, and like, doesn't that sound fun? Next we have The Prospects by Katie Hoffman. This is about, I think it's about a rookie and then like a more senior player on a baseball team.
basically Cleat Cute, but baseball.
It's Cleat Cute, which is a rookie and a senior player on a women's soccer team, but it's baseball and also gay. And I think that the little baseballs are so cute. The Afterlight, sometimes I think they're like naked hardbacks are kind of boring, but that's like totally okay because they're so small and cute and tiny, and I do really enjoy their book picks. Next, so this is the one I ordered from Afterlight because I have the rest of the collection, so every year I have to keep getting the new one to complete the collection.
And then we can have two in Buddy Read.
And then we have two in We Buddy Read. So that's Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is the Afterlight exclusive edition. So I always like the little differences between the US and the UK covers. And then we have the naked hardback is kind of like character art. I think this takes place in like Lake Michigan, so it feels very like home. Also, it's signed because I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. So that was that. And then the other one that I got is the Kiss Countdown. And so I think this one has like fake dating, and also one of them, at least one of them, is an astronaut. Which I'm notoriously very afraid of space. So, but I like stars. I like astrology and astronomy, both of them, both the real science and the fake science. But like the idea of going to space is like very terrifying. Like I actually start having a panic attack if I think about space too much. It's fine. Then we have another Book of the Month book. This is How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. This was from April. I haven't read this one yet. I know it's been a hit or miss for some people. I know that Yulin Kwong is a screenwriter, and I think she's actually adapting Emily Henry's books for the screen, which is super cool. But I do know the main relationship is a little controversial because of an event that happens like at the beginning of the book. So I don't want to like spoil it. It might actually be in the first like chapter or two. We'll see. Lastly, from a subscription box, I have I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. This was the July Aardvark pick, and I was so excited because I absolutely adore Stephen Graham Jones's horror. I think it is so exceptional, so well written, and very interesting. And unlike Riley Sager, I like it when he writes teenage girls. I think he does a really good job of it. And also his books are like very easily diverse. It doesn't feel forced or anything, which is really nice. I'm really excited about this because I like reading slashers more than I like watching slashers, especially kind of like old school 80s ones. I can be a little squeamish when it comes to like slasher movies specifically, but I do like reading slasher books, if that makes sense. Okay, and then the last thing I have is actually a birthday gift from a friend. She got me Book of Tea box set for a Magic Steeped in Poison and a Venom Dark and Sweet. So just the little box set, which was absolutely so wonderfully sweet, and somehow we didn't own these yet, which was a miracle because we've almost bought them
multiple
times, and the books are just so beautiful, and I've heard good things about specifically the first one, not so much the second one, but always willing to give it a chance.
So the cover art, beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Like 10 out of 10. Are you kidding me? So pretty. So yeah, that's all the books we have. If you would like more in-depth descriptions of them, synopsises, sorry, we did not give those. We might give them in a reading vlog or a wrap-up or something. Who knows? Maybe it will be 3 months. Maybe it will be one. Who's to say?
Perhaps it'll be a library tour once we figure out where to put all of these books.
That's a big one. Anyway, in case you didn't notice, we're wearing Argentina shirts today.
Copa final is
tonight.
Copa
final tonight.
We are going to our Colombian roommate's house to watch it. So
it's cool. It's fine. Go Argentina. Lena disagrees. She's giving me the stink eyes from over there. But we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.